Oh, here it is. Alright. That was my tribute to Chariots of Fire. If you guys haven't seen the movie, it probably didn't make much sense to you. Hey there guys, so how are ya? It's time for an all-new DVD and Blu-ray update, and this is where I sit down, I talk about some new movies that I picked up over the last few weeks, and I shoot the shit about whatever I want to say, and then I end up sharing inner thoughts and dark desires. It's a classic, it's a 1981 film, and with the Olympics going on right now, it only made sense to sit down and watch this. It's Chariots of Fire, and this is a story about two British runners who go to the Olympics. They both kind of have their own goals, and they go there, they go through the trials and tribulations, and this is a period piece film. And by the way, this thing looks incredible on Blu-ray. Yeah, Chariots of Fire on Blu-ray is definitely top notch. It keeps that very filmic, cinematic look. You know, they didn't go back and digitally, make everyone look like wax figures. The soundtrack to this it's so damn inspirational. It just, every time I hear the soundtrack to this, I want to get out of my bed. Let's set the tone. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm laying in my bed. The only thing I have to look forward to is waking up, going upstairs to eat some Lucky Charms. But then this music, the soundtrack to this thing comes on, and then I'm up, I'm ready to go. I go upstairs to eat my Lucky Charms. I do 3 jumping jacks, and I come back downstairs and go to bed for 3 more hours. That's what this soundtrack is capable of doing to me. The cool thing about this release of Chariots of Fire on Blu-ray is it comes with the soundtrack. All the cool songs, all the epic tones, all the inspirational songs in this movie are right here. And the coolest song to me, the best one, is Jerusalem. That's the one that you guys heard in the intro to this video. Anyway, Chariots of Fire is a cinematic masterpiece. It's well made, well filmed. And if you guys are into athletic sports movies and, if you guys are in that Olympic spirit right now, check this out if you haven't seen it. Have to crow, have to fight, have to save Maggie, have to save Jack. Hook is back. I'm not talking about the movie Hook, the early 1990s movie based on Peter Pan. I'm talking about the original Walt Disney movie. It's animated, it's a classic, it's Peter Pan. And let me explain something to you, and some of you might already know this, but for you who don't understand why a guy in his mid-20s is crazy about animated Disney movies, which I'm trying to get every single one of them, let me explain myself to you. A few years ago, I realized something in life. I realized that I'm going to have a midlife crisis one day. My kids aren't going to love me. My wife is going to leave me for a cabana boy that works at a local, Days Inn hotel who cleans the pool. And I'm gonna go in this state of depression where I lock myself in a room, and then I want to come out of that room alive. So what I decided to do was, what would put me in my happy place? Well, I figured one day when that happens, rather than pull the trigger, I figured what I can do is take all my Disney animated movies and just watch them, just one after another, trying to find my happy place, trying to bring back a smile to my face, and trying to remember what it's like to be a child. Anyway, Peter Pan's just a great classic Disney animated movie. I mean, it's one of the best. And there's something about that adventure of going to Neverland and fighting pirates. But secretly, I don't think I'd want to be one of the Lost Boys. Because I don't want to sleep in a tree and, it's all mildewy and wet. I want to be a pirate. I want to kill children. I want to fight the Lost Boys. And you know what? To be honest with you, I think I'd be Captain Hook. I wouldn't have the beard that he has or the little handlebar mustache. What I would have, actually, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a hook either. I wouldn't want to lose my damn hand. So I don't know what they'd call me Captain Flick. Yeah, that's what they call me. Or hell, I'd like to be Peter Pan. Imagine being this little guy who wears green tights that flies around. You go into, little kids' bedrooms and trying to catch your shadows. Sure, Peter, that's what you're trying to do. Is that what you told the police? And you could also have this little fairy that follows you around that sprinkles dust on you. But I'd have to keep her in a pickle jar down in my basement. That way she could never get away from me. I hate Peter Pan. I'm gonna kick you in the ass so hard. Every time you have to take a shit, you unbutton your collar. Anyway, next up, it's Clint Eastwood in The Gauntlet. And this is a Clint Eastwood movie I had never seen ever. It's very famous, as that famous scene at the end where he drives the bus across town and all the cops start shooting at it. Where Clint Eastwood, for about the 28th time in his career, plays a cop or a cop of some sort. And now, let me say this real quick. The chick in this movie Sandra, what the hell's her? Sandra Lockey. This is a very 1970s looking woman, but there's something about her. I like her. I really like her in this movie. That's the kind of woman I like, you know. You can't trust her. She might take all your money, but she's smart and cocky, you know? Anyway, sorry. The Blu-ray on this looks okay. It's got a lot of, it suffers from like the compression problems that earlier Blu-rays have. Yeah, sometimes you can see a lot of compression. You can actually see some little color banding going on, but overall it's watchable. Yeah, you got click, clock, ding dong, and what's her face? Alright, this next movie I showed you guys a week or two ago on my last Flick Trip video, and since then I've watched it for the first time ever on Blu-ray, and let me say the Blu-ray looks phenomenal. I have absolutely no complaints. A beautiful looking movie on Blu-ray, and I noticed something after watching this movie. This is a coming-to-age story. This was kind of like the movie for the coming-to-age crowd, the teenagers of the 1970s. And also, there's another movie that came out in the 1990s, you know, 20-something years after this movie, called Dazed and Confused. Another coming-to-age story about kids. They just graduate from, you know, school and they're trying to move on with their life. And this movie definitely started that revolution. You know, Dazed and Confused borrowed a lot from this movie. So many plot points and characters. Anyway, American Graffiti is directed by George Lucas. And watching this movie, you think to yourself, wow, George Lucas, man. You know, he went on to make Star Wars, which was great and phenomenal, and then he kind of just helped produce the rest of them, and then he really went on to do nothing more after that, except those other movies where they had people in front of a green or blue screen, and then he was sitting in a chair saying cut and action and drinking coffee, wearing a plaid shirt. George Lucas at this time, you could feel it. You could feel in his bones that he was alive. He was a filmmaker. He had creativity. He had talent. He was ready to go. You know, I have a conspiracy on George Lucas, and you guys want to hear it? Okay, I'm going to set this down. I just keep an open mind, okay? Keep an open mind. George Lucas, in the late 1980s, early 1990s, what happened was a big corporation, they hired someone to kill George Lucas. George Lucas is actually dead. What they decided to do to make more money is they implanted a robotic skeleton into his flesh. So the George Lucas that we have now is a cyborg controlled by a corporation, and the corporation that controls him, there's not like some person, you know, controlling the robot. It's a computer system, and it just makes analog, you know, decisions. It doesn't really, you know, decipher right or wrong. It decides what makes the most money. So everything George Lucas has done since the early 1990s has been based on profitability. And not creativity, profitability. So that's my theory on George Lucas. I actually made all of that up as I went, but hopefully it sounds true though, doesn't it? That's the scary thing. It could be true. Okay, last but certainly least is Small Soldiers, and this movie has Tommy Lee Jones. He voices this plastic G.I. Joe type figure who wants to kill Gorgonite scum. Now this movie was a very 1998-ish movie, as I like to put it. It just screams Hollywood production, like, you know. Here's what happened. Here's my opinion on this movie. You had a guy who's seen Toy Story, and he's like, you know what, that's fucking cool, man. You guys want to do that? Let's bring some toys to life, but let's not make it so, you know, fun and lighthearted. Let's make these things kick some ass. You guys want to do that? Yeah, sure. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Hire the least creative guy you possibly can, and have him write the script for it. Is that okay? Okay, sure. And also Phil Hartman's in there. I think this was Phil Hartman's last movie. Anyway, the one problem I've really always had with this movie was the ending. Now, the Gorgonites, you know, live happily ever after, but here's how it ends. The kid puts these Gorgonites, these little plastic toys, on a little raft and pushes them out into a river. And every time I see that, I always laugh. I'm like, what the hell is happening right here? Like, they're fucking plastic toys. Where are they going to go to live happily ever after? I think what would be best for everyone is they actually hit some kind of suction in the river and they drown instantly. And I'm sorry, I just can't buy these little plastic toys living happily ever after somewhere. I don't know where the hell they're going. They think they're going to Gorgonite land, but the sad truth is their batteries are going to die, and so are they. I just wanted to ask you guys a quick question. since I was talking about Chariots of Fire and the Olympics is going on right now, what is your favorite sports athletic movie, you know, of all time? You know, there's so many to pick from. I'm going to say two. On the high quality scale of them, I'm going to say Rocky. Rocky 1 with Sylvester Stallone. Hey, yo, I don't know, you know, there's my boxing gloves. You know, I'm sorry, that was awful. So what is your favorite sports movie? Let me know down below. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.